It is currently 9 in the morning. I have been awake since 5, was in the shower at 5:30. I'm about to sit here and talk about sex now for the next hour to hour and a half. What is this lockdown doing to me? Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back. So your virtual sister, big sister, little sister, whatever the hell I am to you, is back at it again today with another sex Q&A. So I got you guys to send me in a bunch of your questions over on Instagram as always, and we're going to be chatting through them today, and I'm very excited because it's been quite a number of months since we've sat down and had a sex chat. And as we have spoken about before, this is our sex safe space, you know, where we can talk about anything and everything without judgment. So before we dive on into the juicy cues, I just want to thank Fabletics for sponsoring today's video. They actually have the sickest offer going on this month. So in the month of February, you will get 50% off every single item on their website for new VIPs. So if you have not joined the VIP membership with Fabletics, I would highly recommend you do so this month if you are interested, because you're getting 50% off every item. Like obviously with the VIP membership you will get huge discounts anyway, but it's not normally 50% off every item, it's normally 50% off selected items, so you can have your pick of the site. Kate's first edit of the year also launched this month too, and Kate's edit is very similar to Lisa Koshy's, which I was talking to you guys about last month, as in Kate's edit would also be produced in very low quantities and would also sell out super fast. To be honest, some of my favourite pieces from Fabletics come from the limited collections, so that would be like Kate's collection, Lisa's collection, Madeline's collection, like the limited collections. There just always seems to be such unusual pieces in them, so that's a little tip if you are interested in Fabletics but you don't know what's the best pieces to go for. I'd keep your eyes out for the limited collections because some of them are unreal and they also don't get restocked most of the time. Also a little reminder that Fabletics launch new outfits every Thursday now, so if you are looking to pick up some of the limited edition pieces or even just see what new collections are dropping to make sure you get them in your size, check their website every Thursday so you don't miss out on your favourite bits. But yeah, I'll leave a link down in my description box, and if you've not signed up to the VIP membership, go do it now because 50% off every single item. So unreal. So yeah, let's dive it on into our sexy cues now. Are we ready? Okay, so our first question is, how else do I tell my boyfriend he's bad / lazy at oral when I've already mentioned it? Nothing has changed. Okay, so first of all, I'm not surprised nothing has changed. If I had someone turn around to me and go, look, you're bad, you're lazy, you're shit at oral, like, will you please do something about this because I'm not happy about it, I'd be there like yeah, fat chance, because that the last thing I'm going to want to do now is give you oral, because you're just sitting there pointing your finger telling me everything I'm bad at. Do you know what I mean? Like, humans don't react well to being told what we're not good at. We react well to positive reinforcement. So you can still like get your point across to him without going, you're shit, you're lazy, you're bad, you're putting in no effort. The best way to kind of get someone to change, for example, in a way like this would be telling them what you like. So be like, I love when you do XYZ, like whether it's a certain movement or when he's kissing you or touching you or whatever it might be. Like anytime he does something you like, praise him for it. Say, oh, I'd love if you could do more of that. You could even be like, oh, I'd really like to try something different. I'd love if you could maybe try and do this thing instead of the way we normally do it, and just see how that feels. I remember being told once by a therapist, and this stuck with me forever. So it was about communication, and they were saying that when you're communicating, the words that are coming out of your mouth is only 30% of it. The 70% is actually your tone. So like the way you say something is so much more important than the words you're using. So your tone and the way you're proposing it to him. So if you come in like, here John, I'm not happy with oral, like, you're so lazy, you're so bad, you never make me orgasm, I deserve better than this. Like, nobody's gonna actually want to change if somebody's being attacked like that. If you're getting attacked like that, you're not going to want to change, you know. But if your tone is a lot more loving and caring and positive and Oh baby, wow, can you hear that wind out there? She is howling. Yeah, if you were more like, oh baby, I couldn't stop thinking about this thing you did, or like I was masturbating over when you did this thing and that thing, and you know, that's going to make him want to be like, oh, I want to do more of this, because then he's getting all this positive feedback, you know what I mean? And humans respond well to positive feedback. But on the flip side, I do feel like this would be the minority, but I have personally been with people who are just super selfish in the bedroom, and no matter how much positive reinforcement I gave them, no matter how good my tone is, no matter how good the communication was, nothing would change, because I feel like it also comes down to people's beliefs and morals in the bedroom, like especially if you're talking about this is a heterosexual relationship, especially I feel like some men can have certain beliefs where like they're like, you know, well, you know, I deserve to always have an orgasm and get pleasure because I'm a man, like, you know, she's there to pleasure me. You know, some men would actually have that thought process. Like I remember in my experience, like his kind of thought pattern was that because it takes me so much longer to orgasm, that's a justification as to why I am never orgasming, because it takes so much longer. And basically he just wasn't willing, he wasn't arsed, like, do you know what I mean? So you can get people like that as well, because at the end of the day, like if he is just generally super selfish in the bedroom, like you can communicate all you want, but at the end of the day he has to want to pleasure you, and he has to want to, you know, make an effort for you in the bedroom. Like that's not something you can make him have. Like you can't force him to want to pleasure you, do you know what I mean? Like that's either there or it's not there. So if he is super selfish in the bedroom, like I would get rid, because you deserve so much more than that, and I personally would not sit and put up with that. Okay, so our next question, I feel like this is a really good one, and it's something I've actually never heard anyone speak about online. So the question is, why doesn't it stay in while we're doing the deed? I know it makes him feel super insecure. Such a good question, isn't it? Because like I feel like this is something that a lot of people at one point or another have maybe worried about, or gotten embarrassed about, or gotten insecure about. But when you think about it, it is so normal, and it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Okay, if there's a man and woman having sex, there's a penis moving in and out of a vagina, sometimes all the way out, sometimes at very high speeds, sometimes when you're very wet and lubricated, sometimes when your bodies are in super complicated positions and you're very far apart. Okay, just break all of that down, okay? And sometimes we've got all this going on at the same time. That's hard work. That is not easy in the slightest. Would you not be more surprised if there wasn't some slippage? Because, I mean, there's a lot going on there, honey. This is something I always just assumed was so normal, and I never even thought that there might be people who think there's something wrong with them if this is happening. It's absolutely nobody's fault. It's not a size issue, and I feel like that's maybe why your boyfriend's feeling quite insecure, because he might be feeling like it's a size issue, but it's not. If you look it up, it has nothing to do with the size of the man. If this is happening, a couple little things you could do is just make sure you're not using too much lube. Lube is amazing, but also too much of it can make everything way too slippery and way too wet. Something else I feel is to just have one person be in control, because this is a lot more likely to happen if you are both trying to, you know, do your thing. It's a lot easier to fall out of sync with each other, whereas if one person just gets in their rhythm, then it's less likely to happen. For example, if you were on top, you could just be like, you stay still and let me do all the work. Like, you can do it in a very sexy way as well. And then don't let it stress you out or distract you. Like, if it happens, try not get in your head about it. It is so normal. It happens to absolutely everyone. It even happens to porn stars, but they just edit them bits out, okay? All these things are also happening on porn. My boyfriend said he thinks about random things not related to sex while we're doing it so he can last longer, but what the fuck is even the point of that? How can I solve this? Do you know what? I got this question and I had a right giggle at it because I was like, I thought this was known knowledge. Like, I thought everyone knew that men do this. Like, not all the time, and I'm not saying every man does this, But first of all, I don't think you've got anything to worry about, my darling. I have heard this of multiple men, so don't worry, it's not your boyfriend, there's nothing wrong with you. And it's not something, I don't think it's something they do every time. Look at me here talking like I'm a man. Men, if you're watching, please let us know down below. Yeah, but from what I've heard, they don't do it every time. It's just sometimes, like, if they feel like they're going to come very quick and, you know, they can see that you're really enjoying it and they just want to last longer. That's all it is. Like, if you break it down, they're doing it because they feel like if they come now, then it'll be over too quick and the sex wouldn't have been long enough and you wouldn't have been pleasured enough, you know. I don't think it's that deep. I feel like, you know, we are absolute pros at making problems when they're not even there. We'll just get our shovel and we'll keep digging a hole until we find a problem. That's what we do, us women. Again, I feel like this is an interesting question. These are kinds of things that I never hear anyone speak about. So what do you do when you hate your partner's absolute favourite position? Should you still do it occasionally? So I have been in this position before, and I feel like this is a lot more common than you'd even realise. Look, I feel like this is complete personal preference. Like, if you are comfortable or not comfortable doing it. If you are not comfortable doing it, no, absolutely not, because I don't think you should do anything you're comfortable with. Even if you're in a relationship, that doesn't matter. If something doesn't sit right with you, end the conversation, full stop. However, if it is something you're comfortable with but it's just not your favourite, or it doesn't feel the best and other ones feel better, you know, if you still want to do it, like if you see how much your partner enjoys it, what I would personally do is just focus on how much they're enjoying it. Obviously, you know, like, do it occasionally if you are comfortable with it, and then instead of focusing on how it feels or the position, because you're obviously not really enjoying it, focus on how much they're enjoying it and their pleasure, and that in return will really turn you on. Do you get what I'm saying? I know everyone's different, but I feel like most people are the same. But like with sex, like, I get the most enjoyment out of seeing how much my partner is enjoying it. Does that make sense? Like, that's what really turns me on, and you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat. So yeah, that would kind of be my advice, but never do it and you're not comfortable with. Alright, so our next one is ways for women to increase libido. Lockdown is having a super negative effect on mine. Now, this is one that I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about, because I actually saw a post during the week that really kind of got me thinking, and I found it very interesting. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of, she does YouTube videos and she's an Instagrammer. Her name's Carly Rowena, I think I'm saying that right. Anyways, she put up a post on Instagram and she was like, who are you having sex for? She was like, often when we lose our libido, the first thing we think is, oh shit, my boyfriend or my husband. But what about you? Are you okay? How are you feeling? Do you know? And I was just like, oh my god, because even I've been in this situation before where my libido's really dropped for different reasons, or it's, you know, whatever, and that's exactly what I've thought if I've been in a relationship is, oh shit, like my boyfriend or my partner or whatever. How crazy is that? Like, we never even think, are we okay? I feel like the first thing to know is that our libido is going to fluctuate throughout our lives constantly, and the fact that lockdown is having a negative effect on yours is completely understandable, and I feel like a lot of us are in the same position. The past year has been the strangest year for all of us, and we have had to face challenges that we've never had to face before, and I know I have definitely seen my libido fluctuate a lot throughout the lockdown, up and down, you know, all over the place. And what I just want to say is that, you know, having sex, orgasms, masturbating, it should be fun. It's something that should be enjoyable. It's not something you feel like you should feel you have to do, either for yourself or for your partner. There was a time where I used to get very kind of flustered if my libido would drop, especially if I'd be in a relationship, but I've gotten to the point where I've just learned to let my body be, and you know, why force something that I'm not feeling? Like, why should I try and force myself to want to have sex or have an orgasm if I'm not feeling like it because things are super stressful or my mental health is low or this or that. Like, it's completely understandable. Like, I feel like we can often get too obsessed with feeling like we should be kind of feeling horny and turned on constantly, very often, and you know, it's something we should be doing on the regular, and if we're not, that there's something wrong with us. I feel like that side of sex is also not talked about enough, that like if you have a low libido or if your libido has dropped or anything, that's also okay, and I don't feel like you should force yourself to change that. Like, if you are happy and comfortable with, you know, your sexual life and how much you're having sex or orgasms or masturbating or whatever, that's all that matters. I just really wanted to have a little chat about this because I never kind of spoke about it from that side, and I feel like that post really sparked something in me and made me realise that why don't we hear people also talk about that side of it? You know, why is it always ways to increase your libido? But you don't always have to increase your libido. Do you know, why is there necessarily something wrong with your libido? Why is where your libido at? Why isn't that just okay? You know, it's going to go up here, it's going to go down here, it's going to go down here, and that's how it's going to go. And it goes like that for everyone, both men and women, throughout their lives. You know, if there's been a death, or maybe you've had a breakup, or maybe you have to move, or you've lost your job, or you have to change jobs, like big life changes are gonna affect our libido. That was a fair long-winded answer, wasn't it? So our next one is, what do you recommend to turn on your mind when masturbating that isn't porn? Now, I have mentioned before that like I don't watch porn at all, so I don't know if that's why maybe one of you guys are asking this, but let your imagination run wild. So my like best advice is either kind of thinking about past experiences you've had, or just make that shit up as you go along. Like, that is the most fun way, I think, personally, because I just feel like my imagination is 10 times more powerful than any porn scene that I could watch. Like, and as well, for me, like, I don't get turned on by watching other people have sex. I'd only get turned on if it's like me with someone, you know what I mean? Like, I'm imagining it being me. I find it hard to do that if I'm watching two people on a screen. Like, I feel like so apart from it. Like, I can't imagine that being me. Do you know, there's some people can like watch porn and imagine that to them, or I don't know, we all have our own strange little ways, don't we? But yeah, so past experiences, or else just let your imagination go and see what she comes up with. Trust. How to handle only being able to come with a vibrator. I feel like I'm broken. First things first, you are not broken. You're the furthest thing from broken, so please get that out of your head. I don't know what the percentage is, but there is a percentage of women who can only come with vibrators, so you are not broken, my darling. I remember actually before seeing like an article that Cosmopolitan did, I think, and I think it was like an interview with 3 women, and it was 3 women who can only come using vibrators, and they were basically talking about like their experience of it or whatever. But I remember one of the questions was something like how have your partners ever made you feel about it, or have they ever made you feel bad about it? And the 3 of them basically said no. And that's where I'm getting to, is, you know, I feel like with that, it's something you've got to own. I feel like if you're not owning it, that's where your kind of insecurity around it is going to come. You know what works for you. You know what you like. You know how to get yourself off. What more do you need, my darling? You know, once you just own that with your partners and whoever you're sleeping with, there is no problem with it, because anyone you're sleeping with is just going to find that so attractive that you're telling them, this is how I do it, this is the only way I can, this is what I enjoy, setting down like how it is for you. Like, I'd be like, oh, yes, like, we love to see it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you're maybe just overthinking this way too much. Like, it's like all of us, like, we all have our little ways that we're going to come, you know, and very particular ways. So I feel like maybe your mindset around it is just a little bit wrong, and you just need to like shift that a little bit. Own that shit. You have nothing to worry about. And on that note, I'm going to leave it here for today's video. So I really hope you enjoyed, and make sure to follow me over on Instagram to get involved with these kinds of videos in the future. And don't forget to check out Fabletics. Link will be in my description box. 50% off every item on the website for new VIPs. Don't miss it. But yeah, I love you guys so very much, and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video. Bye bye, friends.